Hello, everyone! And welcome to a rainy day, but that's okay. We'll bring sunshine to your lives. I'm Paolo del Rosario. And let's get you up to speed with some music you could use right now.
Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. We are here to bring you good vibes, unstoppable energy, and the best company. Join us in the next hour and a half for stories and conversations that matter. It is raining cats and dogs outside since late last night pa, actually.
Was it raining last night for you?
Yeah.
Okay, kasi
so we had to move our cars.
So,
taga-south ka kasi.
Oo, so hindi siya umuulan. Even kaninang umaga, hindi rin umuulan. As in, like, it was dry.
Yeah.
I could go for a walk outside, ganun level ng ano. So when I left a while ago and I hit the skyway, but zero visibility. Like
crazy, right?
It was like driving into a wall of water. Like yung hindi mo alam na okay, it feels normal, it's not a problem, and then as soon as you hit the skyway, it was like, wow!
You know what? I have actually experienced something like that. I was driving along Commonwealth, I remember, and it was dry, everything dry, and then all of a sudden, shung, parang ngang may wall. Like, okay, rain here.
Yeah,
from dry to suddenly rainy. It's crazy.
I mean, like, and it's also a reminder, you gotta keep safe, keep your car maintained.
Yes.
Diba? I mean, I was using while I was using my wipers a while ago, I thought that, thank goodness na well-maintained yung wipers ko.
Yeah, that's very important.
Walang yung mga streaks and all of that.
Yes.
Because, rainy season and things
not
are
just the wipers, but also the windows by your side so you can see your side mirrors. Because that's my problem now as I was driving
Baka
here.
nakatutok lang yung aircon sa, sa window.
No, it's not. Parang nag-ano na yung, I think you have to put something for the water
parang
to like...
yung acid rain
wash.
Yeah.
So I need that in my life. So car shops, if you would like to send some my way. Kasi
actually, sa tapat natin dito sa Bilyonaryo, may car wash.
Talaga?
Oo.
Car shop? Like, they can put something on my windows. Yun ang problem ko eh. I was having a little bit of a problem with my side mirrors this morning. But anyway, we have a jam-packed show for you guys today. I'm excited. You know what? When I was in the US, one of the stops that we went to was the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Okay.
And I was so excited to see, the stars of my favorite celebrities. But there hasn't been any Filipino celebrity with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame until next year.
Of course, because Lea Salonga is going to have one. We're going to talk about that later. And of course, why not? Broadway royalty at the same time, literal real-life Disney princess. I mean, like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And of course, another Filipina making waves overseas, Alex Ayala, reaching a new career high of 54. Alam mo, dahil dyan, actually made a commitment to a friend of mine, one of my brother's friends, saying that, alam mo, starting next week, kasi next week talaga, magte-tennis na ako. Mag-start ako magte-tennis.
Because of that, na-inspire kay Alex?
Because of Alex, yeah. I mean, like, let's be fair. When, naalala ko dati, back in like kailan ba yun? 2000s. The reason why I started using boxing as exercise is dahil kay Manny Pacquiao.
Yes.
Right? So
now people are being inspired by Alex to get into tennis.
And there is a surprising amount of tennis courts in the Philippines. Like, nakagulat.
Yeah, actually.
And,
kami in our subdivision, we actually have a tennis court.
And tennis courts here in the Philippines are a bit weird kasi minsan, kapag hindi hard, they use shell flooring, like yung ground. So it's not grass, it's not clay, it's not hard, it's its own thing, it's shell. Kaya normally kapag yung Davis team, when the Philippines has a Davis team here and then may mga home games sila, naninibago yung mga international opponents.
Sa feel ng floor.
Kasi shell siya, gawa siya. It's ground made out of crushed seashells.
Okay.
And that's why it's a bit different and it's softer and it's better for your knees. Like I remember they used to play in the Colombian sports club in sa may Plaza de Lao. That's where the games used to be, and also in Valle Verde. The grounds would be shell.
Okay.
And it's different for the foreign
You think
opposition.
that affects their game? Like,
Yeah, no, every
ng
surface
floor?
changes. Kaya even si Alex Ayala, when she played in grass, she had to get used to grass talaga kasi sobrang slick, sobrang slippery. Compared to clay, it's different also. So yeah. Anyway, apart from that, more sports because NBA star Ja Morant is coming next month. Hindi yan kilala ni Anne.
Hindi.
Alright, so guys, alright, NBA fans out there, really fun. I'm sure you're going to go out and find a way to see him. There are actually a few NBA players here in the country recently.
Okay.
And we're gonna get through all of them soon, hopefully. And of course,
Sana they stop by the show.
Oo, pero you don't know them eh. Baka meron dito ngayon, di mo lang kilala eh.
All the more reason why they should stop by so they could, talk to me about their lives and everything, right? I could be introduced to them.
Sure. And we also have a content creator, live in studio here.
Yes.
Cycling advocate, Buji Babiera rather. And to talk about, basically ang advocacy niya. Like, I think nagsimula siya ng pandemya. Like everyone did. Kasi bawal mag-kotse nun. Diba?
Bawal, yeah. So everybody was riding
on
their
a bike.
Yeah.
So, and he just continued it. And syempre, yung infrastructure, pinag-uusapan pa rin. And that's something important. And of course, interesting love hacks.
Love hacks. That's happening later with Coach V, of course. Now, data shows a high number of single moms in the Philippines, and we will be tackling that topic later with Coach V.
You know, as much as there are a lot of single moms in the Philippines, yung tanong ko dito, saan yung mga dad?
Ewan ko ba?
Diba?
Yun
Like,
din ang
sorry
tanong eh. Actually, that's the question about
Guys.
single moms. Asan ang mga dads? Where you at, guys?
Ba't ka galit? Hindi ka naman single mom eh.
Hindi naman.
Oo,
But
diba?
But you feel for the single moms.
Yeah, pero alam mo, you almost killed Alvin in the roller coaster. Diba sabi?
Are we talking about that still? I mean, I told you I was not the one who convinced him to go there.
Just for all of our viewers out there who do not understand, okay? Like, just a bit background on yung lore ng It's a Beautiful Day. Si Anne, nag-roller coaster sa States, kasama yung asawa niya.
Yes.
And then
who has heart problems.
And then sabi niya, uy, may heart problem siya, kaya it's so brave that he went there. No, you almost killed him. So,
let me just clarify that it was not me who
Hindi.
told him to go on that ride. He just wanted to risk it.
Pero did you say, oh sige, go?
Yeah.
Oh, diba? That's the same thing! That's the same thing!
Sabi ko, okay, I'm sure, okay, sige tara. No, kasi I rode on it first by myself. So I went on it by myself. Sabi ko, parang feeling ko kaya mo kasi hindi siya masyadong nakakatakot.
Hindi.
It was just like a kiddie roller coaster.
Hindi! Sorry
Ayoko na. Can we just move
may
on?
literal picture ka na sumisigaw, okay? Ay, kalmado. Oh my gosh. No, pero hindi lang yan. I mean, like you went on it by yourself.
Yeah.
You know he has a heart problem. But hindi ka na, babe, wag na, baka mamatay ka.
Ayan na naman.
Ayun o! Look at that! Look at that! You see that? You know why you don't see his eyes? Because he is scared to die. Okay?
Oh my goodness. Can we move on from this already? Oh no.
Okay,
anyway, guys.
Mag-traffic ka muna, Ann. Wait
please
lang.
Join us
Baka mamatay rin ako dito.
Join us for the next hour and a half. It's going to be a really interesting show. But right now, a roller coaster. That's right. But right now, we all know that when there's rain, traffic follows. So let's check the situation in major roads at this hour. Here is what's happening along Quezon Avenue flyover on the left side. Our vehicles going to Quiapo, we're seeing moderate traffic already building up on that stretch. Opposite lane, right side are vehicles going to Quezon Memorial Circle, light to moderate traffic on that lane. Now, this time, let's take a look at EDSA White Plains. On the left side of your screens are vehicles going to Shaw Boulevard, light to moderate traffic on that area. On the opposite lane, same situation. Right side are for vehicles going to Cubao, light to moderate traffic as well. Now, heads up to motorists, the expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing. It's a Thursday, so vehicles with license plates ending in 7 and 8 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, what's the weather going to be like this Thursday? Paolo has today's forecast from Weather HQ. Take it away, Pao.
Thank you so much, Anne. Let's take a look at the local weather system where an LPA that we are monitoring, the low pressure area that we've been monitoring inside the Philippine Air Responsibility has slightly weakened, but it still holds a chance, a moderate chance of intensifying into a tropical cyclone within the next 24 hours. So let me move on to the side so you can all see it. So ito po ang LPA na monitor natin. Now, as of 3 a.m. today, the LPA was located approximately 125 kilometers east-northeast of Apari, Cagayan. It is moving northwestward and is expected to reach the northernmost point of Luzon soon. Now, this LPA, together with the southwest monsoon, which you see coming in over here, that is currently affecting central and southern Luzon, Visayas, and also Mindanao, will continue to bring widespread rainfall across much of the country. Now, let's take a look at northern Luzon. Now, the LPA is already bringing mostly cloudy conditions along with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. These include weather disturbances affecting the Ilocos region, Cordillera Administrative Region, Cagayan Valley, and Aurora. Now, residents in all of these areas should be cautious of flooding, landslides, and especially in flood-prone and mountainous locations. Now, in other areas of Luzon, as we go further down south here, this includes Metro Manila, Pangasinan, Zambales, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas, Occidental Mindoro. The southwest monsoon, enhanced by the presence of the LPA, which we mentioned is right about here, will continue to bring intermittent rains. These rainfall events may be moderate to heavy at times, possibly affecting commutes and outdoor activities. Now, for the rest of Luzon and the western Visayas, right about here, cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms are expected. Now, all of this is still due to the prevailing southwest monsoon. Residents should remain alert for possible localized flooding. Now, as for the rest of the country, generally fair weather will prevail, although partly cloudy skies with isolated rain showers in the afternoon or in the evening may still occur due to localized thunderstorms. Now, Pag-asa also issued a heavy rainfall outlook due to the low pressure area and the southwest monsoon. Now, due to the LPA, today, July 3, moderate rains are expected over in Batanes, Cagayan, Isabela, Apayao, Kalinga, Abra, and Ilocos Norte. On tomorrow, July 4, moderate rains in Batanes, Cagayan, Apayao, Kalinga, Abra, and Ilocos Norte still. Now, let's move on over to Friday. That's July 5. Moderate rains will continue in Batanes, Cagayan, Apayao, and still Ilocos Norte. Meanwhile, due to the southwest monsoon or habagat, today, July 3, moderate rains are expected over Metro Manila, Pangasinan, Zambales, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas, and Occidental Mindoro. Tomorrow, July 4, heavy rains are expected in Pangasinan, Zambales, Bataan, and Occidental Mindoro as well. Moderate rains can be expected over Metro Manila, Ilocos Sur, La Union, Benguet, Tarlac, Pampanga, Bulacan, Rizal, Laguna, Cavite, and Batangas. Over on Friday, July 5, moderate rains are expected in Ilocos Sur, La Union, Pangasinan, Abra, Benguet, Zambales, Bataan, and Occidental Mindoro. Residents in affected areas are advised to be vigilant for possible flooding and landslides. Keep monitoring the weather updates and follow instructions from local authorities, and always stay safe and be prepared. Now, in terms of the sea conditions, latest updates on the coastal waters, as of now, despite all of the weather disturbances, Pag-asa has not issued any gale warnings. However, moderate winds are expected in northern Luzon, with wave heights possibly reaching up to 2.1 meters. In other parts of the country, light to moderate winds are also anticipated, which may produce waves between 0.6 to 2.1 meters. Fisherfolk and marine travelers are advised to remain vigilant as the combined effects of the LPA and the southwest monsoon could result in rougher sea conditions and higher waves. Always make safety your top priority when venturing out to sea. That's it for Weather HQ at the moment. And back to you.
Thank you so much, Pao, for that weather update. Now on to our top stories this morning. Major telco players are raising red flags over a bill that seeks to provide faster and more affordable internet to Filipinos. Under the proposed Konektadong Pinoy bill, telco firms offering voice, data, or satellite services would no longer need a congressional franchise. Instead, they would only need to register with the National Telecommunications Commission and follow DICT rules. But the big telco players strongly oppose the bill, warning that it could create national security risks and regulatory loopholes if passed.
Napakadaling sabihin na more players will drive down the cost Hindi mo pwedeng just come up with a sweeping statement that's gonna lower costs. I'm fearful really of what's bound to happen.
That's very dangerous. Malign actors can embed malware and other malicious software into the system that can pollute the entire telecommunications industry.
Medyo chapsuy na Kung ano yung pwede nila, kinarga na nila talaga lahat.
The daily minimum wage in Metro Manila has increased by 50 pesos, but for some senators, it is not enough. For Senator Jinggoy Estrada, the wage hike is a welcome development, but he believes Filipinos deserve more. Senator Bongo also feels the same, and so has proposed a 100 peso minimum wage hike across the board.
Bawat piso, bawat sentimo ay napakahalaga po sa ordinaryong manggagawa. Kaya dapat taasan na po ito. Kulang yung 50 sa NCR, sa totoo lang. Habang tumataas yung bilihin ay kulang po yung 50. Kaya sana po maipasa itong 100. At dapat nga, noon pa ito eh. Diyan na, pinasa na namin dito. Sayang naman, pinaghirapan natin ito na maipasa.
Living wage is Senator Joel Villanueva's basis for his own proposal to adjust the minimum wage determined by regional wage boards.
Nakikita natin ito yung makatarungan, sapat na pamantayan na dapat gamitin ng ating mga wage boards para po sa disenteng mamumuhay ng ating mga manggagawa.
Meanwhile, Congress has its own version of a 200 peso minimum wage hike for private sector workers. For now, the final decision on the minimum wage is up to the president. Malacanang has already said that they need to balance the needs of workers and employers.
The mystery unravels in the case of 34 missing Sabungeros allegedly buried in Taal Lake. A key witness names Bilyonaryo gambling mogul Atong Ang and actress Gretchen Barreto as among those who allegedly ordered the abduction and killing of the Sabungeros. Julie Aguilar Patindogan, who was previously identified as alias Totoy, told GMA Integrated News that Ang was the brains behind the operation and that Barreto was aware. Ang had consistently denied involvement in the case. Meantime, 4 more suspects came forward wanting to testify to the case, but they clarify they're just victims as well. They filed an appeal to the Supreme Court after previously being tagged in a case of kidnapping and illegal detention of the missing Sabungeros. The 4 witnesses who are yet to acquire state witness protection plead to alias Totoy to tell the truth.
Takot po kami dahil pinagbantaan po kami dahil at sinabihan po kami na umalis na po kami para hindi kami madamay. Boss, ano man yung mga sinabi mo, dapat yung totoo lang, boss. Dahil alam mo naman na biktima din kami, huwag mo na kami idamay.
Boss, maawa po kayo sa amin, lalo na sa aming pamilya.
Actress Sunshine Cruz dismisses breakup rumors with businessman Atong Ang, calling it fake news. On Facebook, Sunshine shared a screenshot saying they've broken up and she allegedly experienced abuse. Sunshine says, and we quote, "Sharing misinformation is not advisable, especially if the news comes from a questionable site." She also posted a list of reminders to help identify if a story is bogus. In December of last year, Ang himself confirmed his relationship with the actress right here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Senator Risa Hontiveros has filed a cyber libel complaint against Michael Maurilio, also known as Rene, over viral videos claiming she bribed him to testify against Kingdom of Jesus Christ leader Apollo Kibuloy. She has also called for an investigation into a number of vloggers who shared the videos, including former Press Secretary Trixie Cruz Angeles and veteran journalist Jay Sonza, among others. In addition, she is asking the NBI to identify those behind the Facebook page Pagtanggol Valiente, where the videos were posted. The senator presented evidence showing Rene initiated contact with her, refuting the claim that she allegedly paid him 1 million pesos to testify against Kibuloy and the Dutertes.
Hinding-hindi ako papayag sa ganitong mga pagsisinungaling, mga mapapanganib na pagsisinungaling, lalo na't ang tinarget ay hindi lang ako, ang tinarget ay ang mga witnesses, ang tinarget pati mga staff ko, tinarget ang Senado mismo.
Meantime, the vloggers who are subjects of Senator Risa Hontiveros' order for investigation take a jab back. Jay Sonza tells the senator just because she was humiliated after her witness's flips doesn't mean she has to drag him through the mud. Cruz also questioned her involvement in the case. She accuses Hontiveros of playing victim and stifling their freedom of speech. As for Sasasot, mainstream media should also be held accountable for reporting alias Rene's statements.
Among the vloggers named in Senator Risa Hontiveros' complaint for investigation is former PBBM Press Secretary Attorney Trixie Cruz Angeles. She joined us last night on BNC's Agenda for comment on the legal actions being taken against her, insisting that she spread no misinformation and is only exercising her right to free speech.
Ayon mismo sa reklamo ni Senadora Risa Hontiveros, mayroong disinformation network o kaya may mga nag-share at nagpaikot ng video ni alias Rene. Isa ako dun sa hindi nagpaikot ng video na yan. At ni minsan hindi namin ni-repost sa kahit anong social media platform. Gayunpaman, kung ang pinupuntirya niya ay yung pagkomento namin sa paglabas ni alias Rene, ito ay bahagi ng ating karapatan magsalita at magpahayag dahil pampubliko po ang paglabas ng statement na yon. But in spite of that, pinost din namin ang kasagutan ni Senadora Risa at nag-post din kami tungkol sa kanyang press conference kung saan inilahad rin namin ang kanyang panig. So, ang tanong, bakit dun pa lang, nagre-request pa lang siya for investigation, itinatawag ng kami na nag-circulate ng mga videos nitong taong to. Simple lang naman mag-search sa internet. Pagka nakita na hindi kami, para makita na hindi kami nag-share ng kahit anong video nitong nagtatawag na alias Rene.
When asked about what implications these legal actions have for vloggers such as herself, she said that some politicians are getting too accustomed to placing the blame on social media personalities.
Ang nakikita namin dito ay may ilang mga government officials na nasasanay na gawin kaming whipping boy. Kami na lang parate, kami. Tignan ninyo, wala ngang nag-circulate, at least ako, and most of the people dun sa listahan niya, hindi ni-repost yung video na yun. Pero unang-una kaagad kami ang pinupunterya dito. Tandaan po natin, may karapatan pa naman magsalita, magpahayag. At kung tama naman ang sinasabi, ano ang ikinagalit ni Senadora Risa dito?
In world news, Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives are sprinting toward a vote on President Donald Trump's massive tax cut and spending bill. A handful of hardliners, however, withheld their support over concerns about its cost. The U.S. Senate on Tuesday narrowly voted to pass the bill. With a narrow 220 to 212 majority in the House, Republicans can afford no more than 3 defections from their ranks. Trump met with some of the dissenters at the White House, pressing the bill to be signed into law by July 4th, Independence Day. But some conservatives are making an early call. The bill might not pass by Friday, as they are not happy with the version the Senate produced. The Pentagon says Iran's nuclear program has been degraded by up to 2 years following the U.S. strikes. This comes after earlier assessments showed the impact may have been overblown by Trump himself. Iran had also earlier claimed they moved their nuclear assets before the attack. The Pentagon insists that it destroyed 3 sites targeted by the U.S.
Over on to sports, nowhere to go but up for Filipino tennis sensation Alex Ayala following her inspirational singles campaign at Wimbledon. The Rafa Nadal Academy graduate achieved a new career high ranking, women's world number 54 in the latest WTA live rankings. Ayala is fresh off a brief but memorable main draw debut on center court, where she gained the respect of fans in defending Wimbledon queen Barbora Krejcikova. Now, Alex, though, is still competing in the Grass Court Classic, teaming up with Germany's Eva Lies in the women's doubles event. Back here at home, the TNT Tropang 5G are just 1 win away from entering finals of the PBA Philippine Cup. The Grand Slam-seeking team defeated the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters in Game 4 Wednesday, 108-92 at the Mall of Asia Arena in Pasay City. Jordan Heading led the Tropang 5G with 23 points. Best player of the game, Brandon Gonzalez-Rosser added 22 points and grabbed 11 rebounds. TNT leads this semifinal series 3-1. Now, in the first game, the San Miguel Beermen evened the series by defeating Barangay Ginebra San Miguel 107-82. CJ Perez top scores for SMB with 19 points, while the Kraken Junmar Fajardo was named best player of the game with 12 points and 19 rebounds. And NBA fans, Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant is set to visit the Philippines next month. The high-flying sensation is headed to Manila on August 2 for the final stop of his world tour for a sportswear giant. Morant and the Grizzlies lost to the eventual champs and the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round of the playoffs. Ja was forced to wrap up the season after suffering a hip injury.
Now in entertainment, Sean Diddy Combs has been found guilty of prostitution-related offenses, but cleared of more serious charges. In his criminal trial that started on the 5th of May, Combs has been convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution, but acquitted of racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking. The rap mogul now faces a maximum sentence of 10 years, which could have been a minimum of 15 years to life in prison had he been found guilty of the other charges. Combs has been denied bail and will await sentencing behind bars. Now on to the lighter side of things, from Broadway to Hollywood. Filipino artist Lea Salonga is about to make her mark in the most iconic way. Nominated by the Manila International Film Festival, the multi-talented singer and actress has been chosen to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame class of 2026 for live theater and live performance. This honor recognizes her pioneering work in theater, film, and music.
And now finally, in the category of live theater and live performance, the star of Broadway and West End musicals, Lea Salonga.
Our next guest is pushing for safer roads for cyclists and pedestrians in Metro Manila. Content creator and cycling advocate Buji Babiera joins us live after the break. Don't go away, we'll be right back. And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now, road safety in Metro Manila remains a complex issue tied to traffic, mobility, and urban planning. While cars still dominate the streets, our guest today is literally pedaling for change, pushing for safer roads for cyclists and active commuters. Joining us is content creator and cycling advocate Buji Babiera. It's a beautiful day, Buji. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
Of course, good morning.
All right, Buji, let's start off first kung paano ka nagsimula. Because actually, just doing some research, a mutual friend of ours actually encouraged you to start cycling.
Yes.
Si Jilson Chu, who is a great photographer, apparently cyclist also, helped you get started. How did this start out? Because if I'm not mistaken, the pandemic played a big part,
Yes.
especially with the whole, okay, dati bikes were the way to go in terms of making sure your livelihood mo is okay.
So, during the pandemic, diba, it was a lockdown.
Yeah.
I never imagined myself before na magbabike talaga ako. Parang sabi ko, oh, it's dangerous, crazy yung mga nagbabike dito sa Metro Manila. But then, you know, diba parang we were stuck at home for a very long time.
Yeah,
Tapos
yeah.
si Jelson, he was telling me na parang, oh, magbike ka, parang you'll get to roam around, it's easier, yung access, ganyan. Sabi ko, no, are you crazy? Ganyan, parang it's dangerous. Sabi niya, no, it's not dangerous. I have an extra bike here. Punta ka dito, papahiramin kita. And then, he was still living in Binondo during that time. So from Binondo, hiniram ko yung bamboo bike niya.
Okay.
I think it was a heavy bike.
Bam bike ba yun?
Oh, bam bike. And then from Binondo, nagbike kami to Pasay. Sa
Okay.
may,
What?
sa may
Okay.
CCP complex.
Oo.
Tapos sabi ko, wow, parang there's a sense of freedom, there's a sense of fun. It's parang mental health restored, ganyan. So, sabi ko, oh, I like this. And then after a week, bumili na ako ng sarili kong bisikleta.
Hindi libre ni Gelson.
Hindi
Pero
delivered.
kasalanan niya.
Kasalanan niya. Siya yung nambudol sa akin.
So now you are a cyclist and you're advocating for road safety, safe road sharing. Ano bang nag-trigger for for you to focus on these very important issues? Kasi I did a little bit of research about Buji and I saw something about shinare mo on a TikTok video your very first semplang, your very first solo semplang. So
Correct.
was this the reason why you started focusing on advocating for road safety? Can you tell us more about that story?
Before the pandemic, I used to drive a lot. Like, a lot.
Okay.
Parang I was working as a journalist noon. So every time I write a story, parang I would go out and drive in the, parang at night, but just to clear my head. Pero hindi ko yung nagagawa during morning kasi traffic was crazy.
Yeah.
Tapos, nung nag-bike ako, and then I started going from Manila to Marikina, to Antipolo, to Pasig. Sabi ko, uy, pwede ito viable pala yung bike as a mode of transport. And if people would bike and they would not use their cars, those who are able to ride the bike, there will be less cars on the road, less congestion, and it's, would give space to those who are not able to have other alternative modes of transport.
Yeah.
So sabi ko, sige, I'd advocate more, I'd encourage more people to ride the bike. And along the way, I realized that the main concern of people is safety.
Yeah.
Parang they will
Yes.
not bike because it's not safe. So sabi ko, how would I encourage people to ride the bike? And that was the reason why I became an advocate. Kasi parang to encourage more people to ride the bike, you must encourage people to keep the road safe.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're safe. And regarding that semplang, that's just like a random
It happens.
adventure.
It happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it just happened that I was documenting it.
Yeah.
Oh, you were?
Buti naka-on yung
Tapos nung
camera.
nahulog ka, the camera was recording everything?
Yeah, it was
wow, that's
recording
crazy.
everything. Tapos sabi ko, uy, pwede yung moment to tell people na parang, semplang.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why I was so interested in that story is because the only reason why I don't want to bike outside is ayokong sumemplang ulit. Because I had that one semplang story, because may construction by the side of the road, which is also a safety concern.
Yes.
Diba?
Well, that brings me to the point na we talk about the roads, right? And sharing the roads has always been an issue because kada LGU has a different approach to road
true.
sharing. There are some that do have bike lanes, dedicated bike lanes, but at the same time, there are some that willingly allow motorcycles to be part of the bike lane. Kasi motorbike naman daw yun eh.
Correct, yeah.
But when you take a look at yung mga infrastructure challenges, just what do you feel are the biggest concerns surrounding bikers now, cyclists now,
I guess,
especially in the urban setting?
I guess yung not respecting our space and not recognizing that we are vulnerable road users. Like for example, recently, there was a cyclist who had a fatal crash. Kasi parang there was a delivery van parking sa bike lane along Shaw Boulevard in Pasig. And then he got out of the bike lane just like a normal day, di ba? Na parang, alis ako sa bike lane kasi may nakaharang. And apparently, the delivery driver opened the door without
Checking.
checking. Tapos natamaan yung biker, sumemplang siya. And
Onrushing traffic.
and then may SUV na
Yeah.
dumadaan. So, parang those is parang respecting our space, our safe space is one of the main concerns talaga. Oo.
you know, along Commonwealth Avenue, the MMDA is planning to, you know, have the bike lane shared with motorcycle riders also. And I believe you also tackled that on one of your podcast sessions, that you shared your thoughts on their plan to also open the bike lanes along EDSA to motorcycle riders as well. What are your thoughts on this?
It's very dangerous to share a lane with motorized vehicles. I
Right.
recognize that people are saying that there's not enough space for motorized vehicles, but at the same time, I want to ask the question, what are we prioritizing? Are we prioritizing the privileged individuals who can go fast, who can, you know, who are very comfortable in their vehicles, or should we prioritize people who are more vulnerable, who just wants to travel to reach their destination safe? Parang ganon.
When we talk about yung safety, and we always talk about yung infrastructure, you know, we also mentioned you mentioned motorbike users, motorcycle users. They have a set of, they always try to advocate, these yung mga groups nila, rider safety by prioritizing ways to share the road, ways to work themselves into safe positions. Like, for example, avoiding blind sides of cars, especially when turning, avoiding certain lanes, especially, and having certain rules when changing lanes as well. For cyclists, does that exist as well? Because there are cycling communities. But in terms of urban road safety for cyclists, do you feel that there is enough education on both the cycling side as well to make sure that there are also incidents that can be avoided from the bike rider's point of view?
Yeah. On the cyclist point of view, of course, we have groups. We have, you know, we are very much aware on social media, and there are awareness when it comes to safety. But we also have to recognize that many people who are on the road, they are not familiar with traffic rules as well, because, you know, they don't have driver's license. But social media helps, I guess, for them to be educated. That's why I'm also a driver. I also ride a motorbike. I drive a car, and as a holder of a driver's license, but it's also my responsibility to know that, oh, there are other non-drivers who do not know traffic rules, and biglang may susulpot na pedestrian, biglang merong susulpot na biker, and that I should be the one who should be careful on the road because I have a weapon, a quote-unquote weapon that can, you know, hurt someone.
Yeah. And you know what's great, Anne, is that not only he mentioned that he rides motorcycles, he's still a driver, he's a cyclist, he's also a hiker.
Adventurer.
Talaga. Hiker siya, pero dito lang sa Metro Manila.
Kaya mawawala na yun soon.
Hindi, Mount Shaw Boulevard still there.
I was thinking of the
Mount Kamuning.
Yes.
Nadaanan na yan. I mean, like, look, I think it just goes back to the theme of mobility.
Ayan, they were showing it there. Ayan, with Patinghoy.
Yeah, Mount Kamuning, diba?
Yeah.
Ayan.
Tapos si Rocco Bell sa Mount Shaw. Siyempre si Rocco Bell sa Mount Shaw, by the way. Look, it's very much satire on mobility dito sa Metro Manila. When you take a look at yung state of mobility here apart from cars, I mean, like, your initial thought on it, kasi we can go really deep into it.
I know.
Pero considering the fact that you've lived it in so many ways, just how can you think about it?
Unfortunately, na-normalize na talaga yung yung stressful commute moments, yung stressful mobility issues natin dito. So parang minsan tatawanan mo na lang talaga siya na parang sabi ko nga yung Metro Manila, it's a big fitness activity, di ba? Yung mga pedestrian
Parang
lanes.
obstacle course.
Pero taba natin lahat.
I know, di ba? Yun nga yung ang daming mga mountains in Metro Manila. Apparently, when I did the video of hiking Mount Shaw and Mount Kamuning, and even Mount Ortigas. Marami nagsasabi, oh, Mount Commonwealth naman. Mount C5 naman. Ganyan. Apparently, daming bundok pala.
Iniisip ko, saan kaya yung Mount sa Commonwealth? Because I always pass through Commonwealth every day. Ano kaya yung mataas naming flyover? But speaking of social media content, you've also posted about cities who have, or cities that have car-free days.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you support this initiative?
Now, I support car-free days because it makes us think na parang, this is a livable city. Na parang we can enjoy our streets without fearing for our lives, di ba? Kids, pets, old people can walk our streets na walang takot that they would be hit by a moving vehicle. So, ang saya lang.
I just have to, I always have a joke with friends, especially foreign-based friends who come over to the Philippines and experience Metro Manila for what it really is. Na the consensus is, ang ganda ng Metro Manila kapag walang traffic.
Correct.
Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. Ang ganda, kaya pag Holy Week, I don't go out, di ba?
Holy Week, ang saya
I don't go out.
Holy Week, pag holidays, right? Oh my goodness.
Holy Week, I'm like, guys, umalis na kayo mag-Boracay. Guys,
You can just stay there out of town.
No, kasi ang saya.
Yes.
I don't know how to
There is just
explain.
no traffic. And parang nababawasan talaga yung pollution. You can see the air gets clearer, di ba?
As a South person, I see it every day as I go to Quezon City. Pero, different story yun. But when you take a look at the fact that it's such a, there's always that hope. Diba?
Yes.
Na we become a better society mobility-wise, right? And you advocating for cycling is one way to do it. So palagay mo ba, if there are more cyclists in general, if this becomes better, do you think that this could be one of the softer ways to be able to control yung congestion problem dito sa Metro Manila?
Yes. Promoting active mobility, public transport is really, really the key. Recently, I was in Paris and I was so impressed how the city managed to prioritize active mobility and public transport. And I talked with my friends na based in Paris and they said na grabe, it's very livable. Gustong-gusto talaga nila yung nangyari dun sa city nila where the government prioritize people more than cars.
You know, Buji, it's so interesting to see your content. Of course, there's a lot of comedy in there as well. So for those who want to follow you, where can they do so?
You can follow me on my social media accounts. It's Buji Babiera on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok. Well, I'm also starting a YouTube channel. So
subscribe na.
Subscribe na kayo, correct. And also, First Bike Ride, my cycling platform. It's on Facebook and on Instagram.
Ladies and gentlemen, Buji Babiera, content creator, cycling advocate. We really appreciate you for coming on over and ride safe.
And thank you very much.
Thank you,
Salamat.
Buji.
Let's all be safe on the road.
Yes, sir.
Now we've got more stories for you guys after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Hello there and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. A new act seeks to fight fake news or fake news peddlers and the negative use of bots or deep fake. Senator Pia Cayetano has filed the Artificial Intelligence Regulation Act. Under the bill, violators may face a fine ranging from 1 to 5 million pesos or face a jail term for 3 to 10 years. The bill also seeks the creation of a National AI Commission, which will be an attached agency of the Department of Information and Communication Technology, or DICT. This is the first ever bill that pushes for the regulation of AI use in the Philippines. And Senator Pia has my vote on this. Regulating AI and giving fines for those who are using deep fakes. Di ba si Anne Curtis had an issue just recently that may deep fake na Anne Curtis na lumabas online. So we really need a regulating body, para may check and balance, because it's going to be here and it's going to be part of our lives for a very, very long time, AI and this technology, right? So we really need the government to help us in regulating the use of AI.
Yeah, no, I think it's here now. I mean, like talking about AI now, pero yung points that when we talk about, kasi it's also subject to abuse. If you think about, like if you have a regulatory body there that just has a preference on a certain type of deep fake, like these deep fakes are allowed, these deep fakes are not allowed. There has to be a way to really work around it. And at the same time, I mean, like when we had the guests recently when we had our panel on AI, which you should all go back on actually, there are some industries that actually use AI technology for artistic purposes that are legal. Like for example, de-aging and using the likenesses of legally of past individuals already. Like when you take a look at what they did to Star Wars as a good example. There are ways that AI is used here, not necessarily to the detriment of anyone. That's not necessarily criminal.
Yeah.
But that's why it could be a bit difficult. Or like, for example, some people are not happy with how MTRCB rates things. Some people are saying that MTRCB shouldn't be part of the streaming platforms, right?
Yes.
Now, at what level are we going to have a board regulate AI?
But you know what? The operative word there is legally. Using AI legally.
Yeah, but again, if you say all deep fakes are not allowed, does that mean entertainment purposes? And at the same time, for entertainment of people in the entertainment industry who use it quote-unquote legally, but someone is offended, can they be taken down for that? Can they be sued for that? Can they be attacked for it? So I think there's still a lot of gray areas that you need to look out for, because it can be the same for even voice acting. What if you use the voice What if it's use the voice of someone else, but it's done legally, but at the same time technology is there, so it still affects the creative.
I think what matters here is the first thing to do is to make it clear what is the legal use ba talaga of deep fakes, of AI, and where does this law put the balance between, going to abuse the creatives, right?
No, there's a lot of, how do I say this, definition that needs to be done. And that's always going to be a topic for the legislators to make, and of course industry officials as well. But we now move on because government agencies mark the start of National Disaster Resilience Month by urging Filipinos to adopt a mindset shift when it comes to disasters. Paolo Barcelon, reports.
The Office of Civil Defense, alongside various government and civic organizations, led the kickoff for the 2025 National Disaster Resilience Month in a bid to try and get more Filipinos involved and prepared for various disasters. OCD Deputy Administrator for Operations Cesar Idio says, achieving this goal is not just a thing that can be achieved in a day or in a year.
Disaster preparedness is not a one-time goal, rather a dynamic and evolving practice that persistently requires sustained effort and constant progress.
In the first half of 2025 alone, the country has seen multiple threats of natural disasters, such as volcanic activity and flash floods. Veteran rescue Dr. Ted Esguerra says areas under joint threat of both volcanoes and rainfall should prepare not just in terms of information, but also in terms of their disaster response capabilities.
We have flash flood, groundwater flooding. We have urban flooding, we have riverine flooding, coastal flooding, all sorts of flooding. Now, if you mix it with lahar, the more it's very destructive kasi ang tubig pwede nang sumira ng ari-arian, kumitin ng buhay, dagdagan mo pa ng mga bato na ipagulong niya with respect to the elevation kung saan siya dumadaan.
Esguerra also says, with the advent of social media, fake news about disasters can be a threat to public awareness. He shares 3 tips on how to spot fakes in terms of news about disasters, the first one being checking if the post came from reputable news organizations.
Una, medyo mahirap to. Tingnan nyo kung yung nag-post ay legit. So alam natin legit kasi sila talaga yung may karapatang mag-post. Number 2, tingnan mo if it's too much rigged with emotion. Because when you are reading features or straight news, these are not really emotional. These are just data and statistics of facts happening around. And pangatlo, let's be cautious and pause for a while. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na mga unintentional spreader. Ito yung mga taong hindi naman masama. Nag-post lang sila kasi sa tingin nila baka makatulong. Pero hindi nila na-verify. So unintentional spreader. Kasi minsan mahirap rin i-analyze ang mga issues, lalo na uso na ang AI ngayon.
The OCD, meanwhile, has tapped actor Dingdong Dantes in its revitalized Panatag Pilipinas campaign to help spread the word in fact-checking about disasters. Infomercials featuring him will now be shown in public screens in select malls, cinemas, and other locations nationwide in a bid to deliver basic information on what to do before, during, and after disasters. Paolo Barcelon, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Now we've got more stories for you, plus our horoscope of the day with Master Hans Kua after the break. Don't go away, it's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ. Now, due to inclement weather conditions, several areas have announced the suspension of in-person classes for today, July 3rd, 2025. In Valenzuela City, no in-person classes from kinder, college, public, and private. In Pasig City, no in-person classes from kinder to senior high school, including early childhood care and ALS, public and private. In Cavite Province, all levels public and private. In Apari, Cagayan, all levels public and private. In Kamalaniguan, in Cagayan, all levels public and private. Santo Niño, Cagayan, all levels public and private. Gonzaga, Cagayan, preschool to senior high school and ALS. Stay tuned for further announcements and make sure you keep safe. Moving on to the global weather, Germany continued to grapple with extreme weather as a scorching heat wave pushed temperatures up to 37 degrees Celsius, the hottest day of the year so far. Now, in one town, footage from inside an emergency vehicle captured a chaotic scene of a hailstorm, contrasting the intense heat blanketing much of the country. Weather reports confirmed the conditions, with Reuters verifying the location through satellite imagery. Meanwhile, at Karlsruhe Zoo in southwestern Germany, animals were given special treats to help them cope with the heat. Polar bears enjoyed blocks of frozen food floating in their pool, while giant tortoises and emus received refreshing showers from zookeepers using garden hoses. Now, despite their Arctic origins, polar bears handle warm weather fairly well, according to zoo spokesman Timo Deibel. Now, a powerful storm hit New South Wales on Wednesday, triggering flash floods, coastal erosion, and widespread power outages. The system, described as a bomb cyclone, brought wind gusts of over 100 kilometers per hour and waves towering above 12 meters. Now, according to meteorologists, some areas saw a month's worth of rain in just 6 hours. Over 35,000 properties were left without power as the storm tore through Australia's southeast. Conditions are expected to worsen before the system moves into the Tasman Sea and heads towards New Zealand today. And that's it for Weather HQ at the moment. And back to you.
Thank you, Pao. Eto na! Is today going to be your lucky day? Let's go find out from our resident energizer and feng shui master, Hans Kua, in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans.
Good morning! It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope for Thursday, July 3. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, huwag palampasin ang chance na ipakita ang leadership skills sa trabaho. Gold at 6. Para naman kay Year of the Ox, may misunderstanding pero kung magpapakumbaba, maayos yan. Green at 9. Kay Tiger naman tayo, magandang araw para sa maliit na investment o savings. Simulan na yan. Yellow at 9. Kay Rabbit naman, may magtitiwala sa iyong idea sa trabaho. Galingan mo. Pink at 8. Sa mga Year of Dragon naman, huwag maging judgmental. Lahat tayo ay may pinagdadaanan. Blue at 2. Kay Snake naman tayo, may hindi inaasahang meeting. Ihanda ang sarili. Gray at 1. Ito naman, kay of the Horsey, huwag kang magastos. Iwasan ang one-day bilyonaryo na mindset. Purple at 7. Sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Ship naman, panahon na para kilalanin muli si partner. Mag-date kayo. Beige at 5. Sa mga Year of the Monkey naman, may ubo o sipon na hindi nawawala. Kumonsulta na agad kay Doc. White at 4. Kay Rooster naman tayo napapansin ang iyong detail-oriented na approach sa trabaho. Ituloy mo lang yan. Silver at 8. Kay Year of the Dog naman tayo matulog ng maaga. Bantayan ang eye strain. Blue at 6. Sa mga Year of the Pig naman, may taong gustong matuto sa'yo. Magiging mentor kahit sa maliit na paraan. Tulungan mo siya. Red at 1. Paalala lang, ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan araw-araw ang horoscope of the day. Dito lang po sa isang beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua.
Thank you so much, Master Hans Kua. And sabi ni Master Hans, kilalanin ko daw ang aking partner more by going on a date. Well, actually, we had a date already yesterday, so, yeah.
So tapos na.
Ha?
Wala na magawa si Master Hans.
Wala na. But you can always have a date every day,
Ayun.
diba?
So isa pa daw. And speaking of dating and love life,
oh my
we have
goodness,
something coming
yes,
up.
we have something exciting up ahead, a discussion on the glaring high number of single moms in the Philippines. A Filipina columnist joins us in our conversation on love hacks after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Hi there, welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Hiding behind the statistics are stories why the number of solo moms are high in the Philippines. We take a closer look at this story on today's Love Hacks. Take it away, Coach V.
Love hacks, we got you. No need to be sad.
The Philippines, despite being known as one of the most family-oriented nations in Asia, is seeing a quiet crisis. The country is experiencing a rising trend of solo motherhood. Is this proof of women's empowerment, or is this just the aftermath of unchecked male irresponsibility? Good morning, loves. It's a beautiful day. Coach V here, your love solution provider, bringing you a brand new way to level up your love life. Welcome to Love Hacks. Today's episode hits deep, my gosh, especially for all our strong solo mamas out there. Here is it. A World Health Organization report found that there are 15 million single parents in the Philippines. And get this, loves, over 15 million of them are single mothers. Yes, that is 95%. So the question is, why are there so many single mothers in a country that prides itself on being family first? Let's get into it. Columnist Eleanor Pinugo wrote a powerful piece about this on Inquirer. She highlighted what most Filipino single moms go through. They go through emotional burnout, no partner support, no legal accountability, and many working 2 to 3 jobs just to survive. These are really hard times, my love. But the main question is, why are there more women choosing solo motherhood or ending up there? Loves, why do you think is the reason why we have so many solo mothers in the Philippines? Isn't that surprising?
Well, according to yung discussion na gagawin mo mamaya, there's so many reasons here. And actually, because we have a guest here to talk about it, let's go through those reasons and figure out if we can agree on it later.
Yeah, sure. So one of the top 3 reasons why we're seeing a lot of Filipinas ending up as solo moms is, but men do walk away. And society lets them. There's no shame or consequence for fatherhood abandonment here, only for motherhood perfection. So guys, have you met of a solo mother who had this story na umalis lang when I was pregnant, when he learned that I was pregnant, or when the baby was born, hindi lang nagpakita? Familiar?
I have friends who are solo moms, and then as soon as the dads found out that they were pregnant, they up and left.
No, I can't wait to
meet them.
No, I don't
to find them.
Hanapin natin yung mga tatay na yan.
I can't wait to know why they do this. No, a lot of people wants to have children, but now you've met a lot of men also who runs away from being fathers. But also, we have romanticized martyrdom here in the Philippines. We were raised to endure, di ba nga, pinagyayabang pa natin that we are so resilient, but we were not raised to live. But when love turns toxic, leaving becomes survival. And eto pa, number 3, no ring, no rights, especially with the live-in setups here in the Philippines. No, we are left without protection, leaving women raising babies while man ghosts with no legal trace. So let's be real, loves. Some women are choosing to leave toxic men instead of keeping a complete family. But they do really pay the price. Joining us today is someone who's making sure we don't just talk about this very important topic, but we actually do something about it. Please, let's welcome columnist and She Talks Asia co-founder and CEO, Eleanor Pinugo. Welcome on It's a Beautiful Day, Lynn.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. Good morning.
What a beautiful woman. Lynn, let's jump right to it. In your article, you cited that 95% of single parents in the Philippines are women. Why do you think this is happening? And despite our culture's emphasis on family,
Right. Well, I think Coach V, you mentioned several of those factors already, right? Which is, I think, one, there are men who are unable to live up to their responsibilities once a child is born or once a woman gets pregnant. And unfortunately, as you had mentioned, there aren't many sanctions for that, right? So it's often left to the women to bear the sole responsibility of raising their children. But I think one thing you also mentioned there is martyrdom. For many women, we are conditioned to just take it as is, when in fact, we should be going after the men, right? Like, so if they're not going to be involved in the rearing, for example, we should be at least going after them to make sure that they're providing. And because I also work extensively with low-income communities through Mano Miga, which is the nonprofit that I run, one of the many things I see also, right, is that the plight of single moms, it also correlates with the fact, for example, that we have high teenage pregnancies here, correct? And of course, when you're young and you become pregnant, it's not automatic also, and it shouldn't be automatic for a woman to to get married. But again, the responsibility now of raising that child often falls on the young woman with very minimal expectation from the young man, even if supposedly they are both parents or co-parenting that child. So yes, we pride ourselves for being family oriented, but unfortunately in terms of our societal expectations for women and girls, there's still that I guess unfair burden placed on women when it comes to child rearing, when it comes to raising a family. It's always placed on women, where in fact men, again, they can I guess they're allowed to skip that responsibility through many factors, right? And that's really something, also a narrative that we should change for everybody.
Right. Thank you for sharing that, Lynn. You've mentioned something about going after them. So do you think the law, and we have RA 11861, is it enough, or are there gaps in the implementation?
You know, what I love about it is that it really, one, it expands the definition of a single parent, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to be married. You don't have to be married to the man for them to be considered as your co-parent. So if they abandon you, then you can qualify as a single parent. For example, whereas before you have to be married, right, for you to have access to certain rights. It also expands the definition to other forms of family. So for example, if your husband or if your wife is an overseas Filipino worker but is low skilled, so they're not earning as much, you can also qualify actually as a single parent, and you can qualify for the benefits afforded for you. Something I highlighted in the article is that even our threshold for a dependent, so before it was 18 years old, now they raised it to 22 years old, which again is a big help for many single parents, because again, that also increases the length, right, in which they can avail of certain benefits. Of course, as you know, as with many cases in the Philippines, we have beautiful laws, but there are always areas for improvement when it comes to implementation. One of the things also is that not a lot of people are aware that there are laws and benefits like this. They need to be able to register for their local government unit, for example, for them to be able to avail of these benefits, but it's not necessarily something that a lot of people know. In terms of translating them into actual initiatives and support, we do need more programs. And
there you go.
To be fair to our government, right? We have the DSWD. They launched an initiative called Program Solo in 2024, and they piloted it in several cities and towns across the Philippines. And the idea is to understand how they could do a nationwide rollout of these programs, which is really about providing more support, not just financially, but even psychosocial support for single parents.
Yeah, you know, Lynn, I just love, I love that you're talking about this. Just for those who are not aware, yung expanded definition of solo parent is also, you mentioned the OFWs, those with partners in incarceration, so those who are currently in prison, either due or solo due to death, detention, or incapacity from the spouse. Also, grandparents who take care of their grandchildren by themselves. You know, you mentioned it, a lot of beautiful laws, a lot of ways that it could have been implemented better. And you mentioned some of the gaps there. But let's now focus on some of the effects that these do have on these single parents, especially these moms in particular, considering they are the vast majority. When we talk about yung mga emotional toll that they have, minsan kasi, there are these benefits, there are these laws, but they don't really have the, how do I say this, right? The capacity to be able to consider that alongside all the other things they're doing. You mentioned 2 to 3 jobs. You mentioned all of these other burdens that they go through. When you talk about the toll that they go through, what do you see?
Well, I think you hit it there, right? Which is you're just so busy juggling the many responsibilities that you have. Of course, you need to work for your child, and of course, if you're the only one raising your child, there are so many responsibilities that come with it that fill up your day. In fact, because you're juggling two roles, you don't necessarily able to fulfill both. And the thing is, to be able to avail of these benefits, you need to register, you need to submit, proof, for example, and obviously that's always not something that you can always prioritize given the many things that you're doing. Yes, it's very important to highlight the emotional toll. It's not just also the feeling of burnout, but really the idea of feeling you're alone, right? I think that there's an emotional, burden, or there's that emotional pressure of knowing that the life of this one person is solely dependent on you, and you cannot necessarily turn to anybody for help. And those are the things that definitely can compromise their ability to seek help. Right, and I think this is not necessarily just limited to single mothers, right? But it's really applicable to everybody who's going through or who is in a situation wherein they're forced to go through it themselves. Even though sometimes help is available, we're not necessarily in the mindset to ask for it. And I guess that's why also in She Talks Asia, right, we're all about changing these narratives and
Lynn,
increase.
sorry, we want to jump in here because you mentioned the word mindset here, and I think Coach V has something here when it comes to Gen Z in particular and mga millennials.
Thanks, Lynn. Yes, so let's talk about moving forward. What mindset do you think should millennials and Gen Z need to learn para we don't continue and be part of another statistic?
Definitely. And it's not even just for Gen Z and millennials. I think growth mindset is something that everybody should study, because it's something that it's like a muscle, right? Like the growth mindset is like a muscle. You need to be able to practice it so you can strengthen it. You need to exercise it constantly. And I think when you do have growth mindset, not only are you able to see challenges as opportunities for growth and learning, but also you start to realize that when you're asking for help, it's not a reflection of your worth, right? Asking for help is part of being human. Being vulnerable is part of being human. And what matters is the way you view a situation. Again, it's not, you're not defined by it, but what matters also is what you do with it and how you respond to it. So yes, it's for everybody, especially something that we should be teaching the kids and our students in school.
Lynn, it's a pleasure having you. Thank you for joining us. Columnist and She Talks Asia co-founder and CEO, Eleanor Pinugo.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Some say women are now empowered, that they leave too easily. But is it really about being empowered or finally choosing peace? The goal isn't to demonize men, but to understand this. When men don't step up, women are forced to rise alone. And that rise often comes with a heavy price, financially, emotionally, and socially. Remember, loves, being family-oriented doesn't mean tolerating pain in silence, even though we've been conditioned to do that. Real love builds, protects, and stays. And a man who disappears after creating life, that's not a man. That is a lesson. We need more policy protection and partner accountability. So, my loves, if you're a single mom, and by the way, before we even say that, any more final thoughts? Anne, how on this one?
Some of my single mom friends, they aren't single moms by choice. The men really left, they just up and left. So they are forced to be strong. Right. So I think the situation is different when the man is there, but he doesn't step up. So the women
I
are
would
forced
also say
to step up.
One of the more interesting scenarios also, there's that. There's also yung mga magulang na ayaw sa lalaki. So pinapalis sila.
Yes, that too.
Yung mga tipong we don't want the guy there in the picture. So they say that, look, you're better off a single mom. Kami bahala sa'yo.
Yes.
So may mga ganun.
So may ganun situation also. And they don't even allow the dads to see their kids. Binabawal talaga.
No matter how much the guy tries kasi ayaw ng pamilya.
Yeah.
That's why we are here in Love Hacks. We are opening the floor. If there are some, fathers and daddies who'd like to share their thoughts, what's on the other side, feel free to reach out to us.
Alan, meron ba? No?
But yeah, very.
But you know,
Sure.
props to
Meron-
all
wait
the
lang.
Oh, go.
Wala daw. Okay.
Wala naman daw.
Yeah, our
Just to
number
make
one
things
respondent.
clear, Alan is malinis ang konsensya niya.
Responsible dad naman, Alan.
Yes. But you know, props to all
Let's
the
change
single
topic daw, guys. Okay.
Change topic.
You were saying,
Props
Anne.
to all the single moms out there.
Ah, yeah, 100%.
Kasi I am a mom myself, and I know how difficult it is, how challenging it is to be a mom, especially, you know, when they go through yung different stages in childhood. May mga tantrums pag toddler, tapos pag teenager na.
Grabe,
Oh my
diba?
God, it's impossible because I have a teenage daughter, and grabe ang hirap nun i-handle, and I have my husband to assist me, you know, so I can just imagine how hard it is if
were
you're just
alone.
doing it all by yourself. So I have so much respect for the strength of single moms, and we were talking about the laws and the benefits a while ago that they can avail. Alam ko not all single moms know that, so sana may mga programs tayo that really, you know, tell them or
Awareness
educate them.
drive, yeah.
Awareness
Yes.
drive.
And maganda nga yung sinabi ng guest natin kanina, you need to register in order to avail of those programs
Yeah.
because not a lot of people know that. So my loves, if you are a single mom watching this, know this. You are not less, you are not damaged goods. You are a warrior. And if you're dating one, guys, respect the role she plays, because loving her means loving her children too. That's it for today, loves. This is Coach V, giving you real talk about real love. DM us your love dilemmas at Dating Coach V, and let's not just talk about love problems. Let's solve it. Thank you to Giselle Hotea Morado for today's empowering outfit. See you again next week here on It's a Beautiful Day. Love you.
Ang juicy yung topics.
Yeah.
Laging juicy. I love it.
Grabe.
I mean, like, look, again, we pay tribute to the single moms out there. I've dated one. I have friends who've had, I have friends who've married single moms also. And, you know, it's always a really interesting topic, especially because the kids involved. And, you know, we always talk about the moms and the reaction of the kids to new men in their moms' lives. Iba yun.
Iba rin yung challenge for the
intense
kids
yun.
of single moms eh.
Oo,
Diba?
sobrang
Kasi,
intense. Like, it's funny because when the girl I went out with back then had a teenage kid. So, and a few years older than yung sister ko in the same school. Which is like sobrang like, whoa! But, you know, it was like, whoa! But it's such a different thing. They're special breed in a great way because, talking about single moms, because you mentioned the strength a while ago, and it's true. And hopefully, we can have all of you reach out to Coach P, and especially for those who, you know, may mga love problems, abhaks nga to, diba?
And the gentleman, if you have something to say, share it with us.
Alan.
And we'll be happy.
Wala? Okay.
Oh.
Coach B, thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Welcome, guys.
That is it for us, though, this Thursday, July 3. Rainy day today. Stay safe. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Thank you so much for joining us.
and I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Before we go, we would like to greet a very happy birthday, Ma'am Ethel Marfil, the beloved wife and better half of our chairman, Mr. Ray Marfil. Happy birthday, Ma'am Ethel! Have an awesome one! Woo! And make today unforgettable by choosing joy and spreading love and kindness wherever you go. We will see you again tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
It's a Beautiful Day!